Welcome to Classic Constructed Armory in Jyväskylä. This first round we have Bravo Showstopper versus -IO. Bravo is the original Guardian with access to dominate attacks, -IO, an item-oriented mechanologist that can do a lot of different tricks with boosting and drawing cards and aggressively oriented deck. Here on the first turn we see Bravo playing a dominated Starstruck. Very great opener on the very first turn to apply some very real disruptive pressure here, threatening preventing Dash from being able to attack. Since when this crushes, the only attacks the defending hero may play or activate during their next turn are attacks with base power greater than the damage dealt this way, which means if it crushes for, let's say, 6, Dash can only play 7 base attacks, which, is essentially not something Dash has access to. And we see that crushes for 6 here, so Dash will not be able to attack on their first turn of the game. Interestingly though, in this matchup, we will expect to see Dash using her items to set up powerful items that allow you to do what is often called a damage compression. If you use items such as Teklo Pounder, which we indeed see played out here, this provides damage to your attacks, and it can do that 3 times, giving +2. So this means that you can concentrate your damage in a small big turn. Also, Boom Grenade played here with Dash's ability from the top. So another setup turn and another dominated Bravo specialization attack. So Bravo get to keep a full hand of cards, and it just so happens to be 3 blues and a Crippling Crush. Now this one threatens to discard 2 random cards from Dash's hand. A very, very potent crush effect that can certainly ruin your day, so to speak, because you can't plan around which items you will be able to keep. This is certainly a great way for Bravo to be able to convert these 4-card hands when an aggro deck does a setup turn and passes you the turn with your full grip of 4 cards. As a Guardian, you are often faced with a clunky blue hand that can't necessarily do that much, all things considered. But in this case, with the Crippling Crush and the blues to pay for it, we are quite happy as Bravo here. Dash reaching for the equipment suite with this synergy between adaptive plating and golden tinkering Cogworks tinkerings. There's, I believe, a total of 9 equipment block here, and also 1 card from hand defending. So this is completely covered, no damage coming through. Dash could have chosen to block with a little bit less equipment and take some amount of damage and still prevent the crush effect, but I suppose just wanting to protect the life total here. Or use that Crown of Providence for maximum effect. So the Boom Grenade here does have... Right, so Dash chooses to play a Teklo Pounder. That consumes the action point. It cannot give it back, so that's that for this turn. And here we see a dominated Spinal Crush from Bravo. Able to present some quite a good crush effect that can stop go again on actions, activated abilities, and attacks, which does deal with boost, although Crank can still give action points. 1 block and 6 damage, so the crush effect is active. Dash cannot get go again from their cards. Still able to boost in order to, for example, trigger effects that like the Teclo Pounders, but yeah, perhaps chooses just to do another setup turn here with Spark of Genius. I mean, eventually, Bravo has to not be able to punish you with a really powerful dominated attack, right? That's the theory behind doing these setup turns anyway. But of course the disruption is forcing your hand quite significantly in this regard. Oh, with a cerebellum processors from hand here for used for pitching. Not the kind of cards you really want to see in your hand as dash. You'd rather play them with the hero ability from the top of the deck. So pitching this much probably means we are going for the third and final Teclo Pounder. Indeed. Dash has not boosted this turn, so Spark of Genius does not draw a card. It's just used to retrieve an item of choice. But now with 3 Teclo Pounders, we are looking at +6 to the first boost attack each turn for 3 turns, representing quite a lot of damage. So even though it hasn't been cashed in yet, Dash has been able to essentially, quote-unquote, deal 6 damage with each of these Teclo Pounders individually. So in essence, there's quite a bit of damage here, just waiting to be unlocked. And of course, with damage compression, when you do the damage in fewer turns that deal more damage, you are able to get over the defenses of defensive decks quite well. Since Dash boosts cards with the attacks, or punishes cards with the boost attacks, running out of cards is a very real consideration, and against a Guardian that's able to defend with cards and defense reactions and equipment, it can quickly lead to a fatigue situation where Dash just runs out of cards. We see Bravo here activate the Bravo ability, and there's a Crippling Crush. Once again, Bravo specialization with Dominate. This is essentially going to crush. With 1 block left on the equipment, there's not much Dash could do. In order to not get crushed, it would need to be defended for 8. Dominates means you can only use 1 card from hand. Dash activation here, finding a Teclo core. So another item setup card that can enable some really big turns at a later time. Dash going for this delayed gratification from these item setups. The crush effect happens, so 2 random cards will be discarded. A very punishing effect. 2 cards go to graveyard. Boom Grenade on a 0 to 60. We do see this backup protocol red here that costs 2 resources, and I think we will see that cashed in with those floating resources to retrieve an attack action card to hand. A nice way to sort of sidestep the downside of potentially discarding attack action cards that you wanted to keep, or of course just sculpt your hand after knowing what cards you have left in your hand to work with. So a nice usage of this item in this situation. Finds a Sprocket Rocket. Simply a free boost attack that can get +1. Two resources made from the Teclo core. Dash IO activation. There is a convection amplifier. This is another one of those items you can set up. Has 2 steam counters, and if you remove one, you can give dominate to an attack action card. In combination with the Tekla Pounders, it allows you to force through damage that would otherwise potentially be defended by multiple cards from hand. But Dominate says, no, no, no. So giving Bravo a little bit of his own medicine here, I suppose. Convection Amplifier activated. Dash seems to be wanting to play something from Arsenal, perhaps. Yep, there's Outpace from the Arsenal. It's boosting away an item. And this says this can't be defended by equipment. So with Dominate and +6, that's a 10 Dominate. Go again. No equipment blocks. Bravo still at 40 life, so not a life-threatening amount of damage yet, but still a very efficient use of cards here with 1 cost 10. Starting to cash in on the, of course, the setup turns that were made previously. That were unfortunately for Dash quite costly. Those setup turns with Bravo lining up back-to-back disruption. But we'll see if Bravo is able to keep that up, or if the tides are turning here. Bravo says no blocks, and that 10 damage goes straight through. Sprocket Rocket boosts an item so that it becomes an attack for 4. With Go again. Here's a Crown of Providence. Bravo wants to put a card to the bottom and draw a card. And a Symbiosis Shot attacks for 2. No blocks there. Bravo's down to 26. Dash.io took out some items and did some damage that turn. But still has plenty of items left to do more damage with. If Dash can do that 2 more times, that's game over for Bravo. Well, of course, unless Bravo starts defending for reals. But of course, Dash would like to get Bravo into defending defensive position here. And we see Bravo activation and a blue disable. So this is not as impressive as the previous turns, but still a disruptive attack, threatening to take away the arsenal. But with the chest piece available to defend here, with 1 3 block from hand and the chest piece, this can be covered up so that the crush effect doesn't occur. So Dash needs to choose between the... Yeah. Defending here also, of course, has the advantage of preserving some life. If you just take the 7 and go down to 5, that can be scary. So wants to stop the crush effect and some damage here. And that is the last of Dash's equipment blocks, but gets to keep the arsenal. 2 resources from Tekla Core. Gives Dominate to an attack, and it is Outpace once more. No equipment blocks. 10. Go again. Dominate. This time Dash.io has not yet been activated. Bravo declares no blocks, and there are no reactions. Bravo going down to 16. So far, the items and these evasive effects are proving to be quite efficient at taking back or recovering the life total gap that was there. Techno Foundry Heart activated here to banish some cards and net 1 resource. Perhaps can possibly find an item off the top of the deck, of course, by replacing what was there with something else. It's a key decision point for Dash.io is when to use Techno Foundry Heart to potentially look for that item you would like to play with Dash's ability. Being able to find a whole extra card just from out of nowhere is quite powerful. Spark of Genius, of course, another tool for doing the same. It will shuffle the deck, so what is on top of the deck is entirely random after this card has resolved. I believe this is being played for 0, so that could be a Boom Grenade or probably maybe a Cerebellum Processor. Boom Grenade would have been useful before that attack we just saw, but yeah. Here is a Processor. So the one advantage of playing the Spark of Genius after having attacked is that you do get to draw a card from Spark of Genius's last line of text. Cerebellum Processor, of course, is a very powerful tool for drawing more cards and doing more things with your turn. In this situation, it could at least draw a card. Well, I don't know. Dash does not have any extra action points here, so this is probably just setting up for next turn. But you can crank and send another attack, and then on the next turn, if you are able to generate some bonus action points, you can convert them into cards. Dash.io has still not been activated this turn, so if there's an item on the top, maybe there could be some more action. But that can of course be boosted away by an attack also. That will happen, and there's a Pulse Wave Harpoon. So this makes Bravo reveal a card, but yeah, that has a 3 defense, so it's not going to be forced to defend here. So Bravo preferring to keep cards and put some equipment in front of this. Now that that's available. Another Pulse Wave Harpoon comes in. This one also for 4, making Bravo reveal 2 items. Or 2 cards, sorry. But nothing sent to the combat chain. Bravo says no blocks. I'll take 4. Luckily there was no Boom Grenade there. Luckily for Bravo. Off the top of the deck. Which can be played from Dash's ability. A very scary combat trick. Backup Protocol played from hand here. So that's going to potentially... Yeah, and a card draw from Cerebellum Processor goes to the arsenal. Oh, 3 blues and a 7 cost for from Bravo here. 10 dominate with a Starstruck. That is quite punishing in this situation. With no armor blocks, I don't see any way Dash could get away from this crush effect, and Dash's attacks just don't have that high base power. So this is going to stop Dash.io from attacking on the next turn, which is quite potent, and also of course send quite a bit of damage through here. 10 dominate when you're at 9 life is not something you really want to see. So Dash will probably defend with one card, and yeah, that maximum velocity is certainly not attacking anytime soon. So that gets sent to the combat chain, and Dash is down to 2 life here. Is able to use Backup Protocol here, maybe to set up some cards that could be useful to have in hand for a later turn. Outpace is the selected card there. This evasive effect proven quite powerful here, since of course Bravo does have some equipment that can do some blocking. So another outpace for 10 here would dominate. No, there's no dominate source available at the moment, but still, 10 with preventing equipment blocks is a powerful thing. But having not attacked, Bravo gets to keep a full grip of 4 cards. So if Bravo is able to present a oh, sorry, we are still in Dash's turn, I believe. Can't attack here. Can only really play items. Items that don't directly boom grenade. Yep. But there is one item that does actually have a meaningful impact on your opponent, which is null time zone. Of course, you need to name the correct card in order to stop them from doing you dirty, which is not a trivial task. Bravo activates, and it is a red aftershock for 8 dominate, and I don't think there's... Yep, that's game, folks. A string of dominated attacks, and not quite enough damage from the mechanologist side to catch up to that life total, and of course the disruptive effects making it very hard. This is one way these games can turn out, although conventionally this is a fatigue matchup where Bravo will try to make Dash run out of cards from boosting. But an interesting quick game. Yeah, thank you for watching.